Jean Piaget was born in Switzerland in 1896. Passionate like his father, Jean Piaget became fascinated by science at an early age. He would study the mollusks for hours on end when he was only 10 years old. In his teen years, Piaget published scientific papers on mollusks. His readers were unaware of his age and therefore considered him to be an expert on the topic. Jean Piaget coined the term schemas for our basic units of knowledge. These work as building blocks to build a mental map of the world around us. Our schemas adapt throughout our lifetime. They begin as our initial baby reflexes, like sucking and grasping, and eventually develop into deeper understanding as we travel through the lifespan. Schemas can also be thought of as index cards. We have a separate card or schema for every situation that tells us how to experience the world. However, each experience is meant to shape our schemas. Piaget developed an adaptation process. Piaget separated schema adaptation into two groups: assimilation and accommodation. Assimilation is used to describe a new situation that uses an old schema with little difficulty. A natural infant schema is to pick up objects and then hit them repeatedly on a hard surface. Their schema for hitting things together will work with many different items. They could use wooden spoons, dolls, or their fists. The schema could be written as grasp, swing, noise, repeat. Assimilation would continue to work until the cycle was broken. When a child gets a different result, he or she adapts by using accommodation. Accommodation is used to describe an old schema being forced to change by a new situation. If we switched the baby's wooden spoon out for an egg, then the baby would have to use accommodation. Instead of the expected grasp, swing, noise, repeat, the baby gets grasp, swing, crack. This may startle the child at first, but soon the results will be added into their permanent schema for hitting surfaces with hard items. Piaget developed the 4 stages of cognitive development: the sensory motor stage, the pre-operational stage, the concrete operational stage, and the formal operational stage. Piaget believed that students do not progress or regress in their stages, but how they think is determined by their age. The sensory motor stage is from birth to age 2. This stage is characterized by acquiring of knowledge through sensory experiences. Children at this stage tend to grab objects and put them in their mouths to gain a better physical understanding of the world around them. In this stage, they begin grasping and muscle strength. This stage centers on the development of object permanence. Object permanence is the concept that an object moved out of sight still exists. That is why games such as peekaboo are so popular at this age. Next is the pre-operational stage from age 2 to 7. In this stage, children are very egocentric and think of the world in terms of themselves. They fit new knowledge into what they already know instead of trying to form new connections. Children generally struggle to understand constancy during this time. For example, it's hard for them to understand that when a ball of Play-Doh is flattened, it is still the same size, just a different shape. The next stage is the concrete operational stage from age 7 to 11. In this stage, children become logical and think about the world outside of what they know. Children begin to understand the concept of separate viewpoints and they become less egocentric. The final stage is the formal operational stage from age 11 to adulthood. In this stage, children finally begin to grasp abstract thinking and are able to display altruistic characteristics. They are also able to consider multiple outcomes to a problem and weigh the pros and cons to find the best solution. There are theorists that don't believe in stages, but rather they believe that everyone is on a continuum. Some scientists also disagree with the age ranges Piaget chose. Also, some say they would trust Piaget's research more if he had conducted his experiments with another researcher. Some people believe that Piaget's theory is weak because it didn't take into account the cultural effects on cognitive development. For example, a child raised with a nomadic lifestyle has a strong sense of spatial awareness, and he or she would move through the pre-operational stage quickly. Piaget only observed the learning development of European children with high socioeconomic status. On the flip side, Piaget developed entirely new fields of scientific study. He had a great impact on cognitive theory as well as developmental psychology. Piaget's theories help teachers understand what their students can grasp and what is pushing them too far. Teachers should want to challenge their students to perform at their best, but when pushed too far, a student becomes unable to grasp the concept and he or she may shut down rather than progress. The 4 stages of cognitive development work as great benchmarks. Teachers should use their knowledge of Piaget's theories as a foundation for monitoring student growth.